What's up, guys? I'm Gary and you're watching All Purpose Builds here. So here's an update on the 2000 Honda Civic. Now, you guys did see this car briefly in the track day video, but this is just a little more in-depth update on what's been going on just in general with the car. All right, so last time you guys actually saw the car was roughly about 2 years ago when I had actually bought it, and the first thing that I had done to the car was replace the clutch on it because it was blown. So that was the first piece of maintenance that I did to the car. Now, since then, the car has actually been perfectly fine. Surprisingly, in the last, I would say 25,000 miles of full red line shifting, burnouts, beating the car in any way, shape, or form that you can, not a check engine light has ever appeared. So the Civic has done very good. Now, I'll be 100% honest. I have not been the nicest to this car. I've gotten hit, I would want to say roughly like 4 times in this car. The worst one was when I got hit in the actual quarter panel, which is something you can't really see on camera right now, but does require for the quarter panel to be replaced. It doesn't have to, but I actually really like this car. It's a car that I've learned a lot in. I learned how to drive stick in this car, number one. I learned basics of rev matching, taking corners hot and stuff in this car. So I actually really like this car. I don't need to cut a whole quarter panel off of it, but it's something that I want to do because I plan on keeping this car fully until some sort of catastrophic accident. So that's about my game plan with it right now. All right, so I have done a fair amount of upgrades to this car. Fairly simple stuff. I'll break the ice right away. Engine is 100% stock. She's as slow as she gets. But I've done full suspension to this car. I've upgraded the brakes and stuff over time as well. I currently have skunk tube coilovers on the car, which are surprisingly very good. But I always thought that from hearing from other people's experiences that they were stiff and stuff. But in my experience, these things have lasted very great. Now, like I do say, I plan on I've tracked the car now at one point, but I do plan on tracking the car in the future, and these coilovers, they seem to be working perfectly fine. Aside from that, I've done hard race upper control arms up front, hard race camber kits and toe adjusters in the back, and rear subframe bushings. I have slotted and drilled brakes, rotors up and back, and I have Hawk HPS brake pads, which are pretty much brake pads that you can use on the track and on the street. You can see right from my wheel right there how filthy it is because these things produce a massive amount of brake dust, but they stop on a dime, which is, I'll trade off for it. It's worth it. The interior, I've done Recaro seats out of the JDM Type R or Civic Type R in Japan. I've done a Sparko steering wheel, no horn because why not? And aside from that, that's pretty much it. I have strut tower reinforcement bars in the front and in the back. It's helped out, even though someone may think that it actually does nothing when you actually drive the car. But I personally think, in my experiences and what I felt in the car when I put it on and didn't have them, it's felt completely different. It feels tighter throughout the corners and stuff. I did a rear diff conversion on the car as well, and that's mainly it. So continuing on with the mods list, I do have some SI parts on the car because when I first bought the car, it was introduced as an SI clone. Well, a wannabe SI clone at the time. Now, what I have done, the SI front grille, obviously SIs were the only Civics from the 96s to 2000s that had the rear disc conversion, so did that as well. The wing, people think it's an SI wing, but it's actually an optional 99 to 2000 spoiler. So I got that installed as well because I've always loved how the wings looked on these cars, even though I feel like all the time I'm constantly looking under it to look out my rear view window, but overall still love it. Have a carbon fiber lip on the car as well. Bought it cracked. I haven't cracked it more since then, so everything is going pretty good. Now, I was mentioning my famous quarter panel whack right here. It was very, very bad when it actually happened. The whole quarter panel was completely caved in to the point where when you would stand right here and look at it, it was just maybe like 3 or 4 inches deep into the car. So that was actually about, I want to say about 2 years ago now. And I just never got around to fixing it. Number one, it's my only car. I can't really put this car completely to the side and do a bunch of body work on it because I need to drive it. So, continue on my experiences and stuff with the car. I was saying, you can see it is the factory D16Y8 mini tank right here. Don't tell me how I know, personal experiences. I took this car to the track and I actually had, I could say, a dream come true, because I always thought that this car handled very good for all the modifications that I did with it. And it completely confirmed everything that I was hoping for. At no point did I ever feel scared or nervous on what the car couldn't do on the track. Probably maybe because I can't go that fast, but I was tossing it in those corners. I was having a great time. Overall, the car, I've really just set it up to just perform very comfortably on the streets and in corners and stuff like that. I was talking about the brake upgrades. I also forgot to mention that I did do steel braided lines for the front and in the back stop tech. Very good. I would suggest anybody that wants to track their Civic or any car in general to upgrade that, because it instantly upgrades your feeling in the brake pedal. So my final 2 upgrades at this point for the car are to obviously get this factory D16 out of here and put something a little stronger, a little more peppier, which I am building a B20 VTEC. I have a high compression B20 bottom end and a B16 head out of an SI, same year, 2000 SI. SI transmission and everything. It's actually going to be a really fun swap. I'm hoping for about 200 to 215 to the wheels. Right now, this current setup, I can guarantee you, doesn't blow past 90 horsepower. Feels amazing though, makes all the cool noises, makes all the cool VTEC noises and everything. But aside from that, just have to finish up the swap and paint the car. I have a carbon fiber hood at home that I plan on installing once I paint the car, and I also have Jay's racing fenders. So she looks very ugly right now, but when she's going to be done, it's going to be something nice to stare at. That is soon to come though, because this isn't my primary car anymore. I actually have another car that you know, she's low-key become my new favorite wife, my new favorite daily driver. This one doesn't really cut it as much because it's not as fast and it doesn't sound nearly as cool as this puppy right here. So, right over here, we have my actual daily driver, my 2008 Honda Civic actual SI this time. No fake SI. This car is as stock as it gets. I have full stock suspension on it, full stock interior. It has a nice little double din in it. That's pretty much it. The car came with a ridiculously loud Skunk 2 exhaust on it, and I think that's part of the reason why this car is transitioning from the ultimate bone stock daily to now another car I'm probably going to end up beating on. It's just so fun. These cars handle so amazing. And they're just so comfortable. They're just great everyday drivers. I plan on lowering the car, doing bigger brakes up front, because I do really want to take it actually to the track and see what this car can do as well. I did see Cousin Curvis. He had an amazing time in his effort. With that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in on my update within the last 2 years of what's been going on. You will see more of these cars as time goes on, because I'm planning on dumping every single penny that comes into both of them. So with that being said, thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe and share it with a friend, please.